Waiting for...
Recording in progress.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay. Zoom ready?
Zoom ready.
Okay, it is Monday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. We're going to start with a public informational hearing for the town of Sunderland. And it's an informational hearing to discuss the Australian ballot articles on the 2026 town meeting warning. So I'd like to call this hearing to order. Any additions or deletions to the public informational hearing agenda?
No.
Any public comment on that? No. Okay, next item is review and discuss Article 17. Shall the voters of Sunderland approve the sum of $21,395 for the cemetery maintenance budget? Any public comment on that? Okay. Next item, review and discuss Article 18. Shall the voters of Sunderland approve the sum of $428,094 for the general fund budget? Any public comment? Okay. Next is review and discuss Article 19. Shall the voters of Sunderland approve the sum of $609,040 for the highway fund budget? Any public comment? Okay. Any discussion of other non-binding business for the informational hearing? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public
Okay.
informational hearing.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? Okay, Marty's the motion, Bruce is the second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of adjourning the public informational hearing, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. The public informational hearing is adjourned at 7:02 p.m. Okay.
Do you want me to officially stop recording?
Yeah, can we have a separate recording and then we'll start the action?
Got it. BCRC just joined.
Okay, are we good to start?
We are good.
Okay. All right, it is, again, Monday, February 23rd. It is 7:02 p.m. This is the Sunderland Select Board regular business meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I am Todd Lawrence. To the far right of me is Bruce Mattson. To my left is Marty Nadler. To my right is Anthony Thompson. And at my far left is Rick Timmerman. Item number 3, additions or deletions to the agenda. Does anyone have anything you want to add? Yeah, I think we're going to plan on having an executive session. I just want to put a note in there too to discuss just a personal matter under executive session. But other than that, I don't have anything else. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. February 9th, 2026 Select Board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the February 9th, 2026 Select Board meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item number 5, public comment. Any members of the public have any comments, either on Zoom or in person? No? Okay. Item number 6, review and approval of the revised intermunicipal fire protection services agreement between the town of Arlington and the town of Sunderland. Rick, do you want to just give a quick summary?
Yeah, we went back to the town of Arlington. They originally asked for, I don't have the actual numbers, but it was $83,000 or $84,000.
Yeah.
In the range of that.
So they've come up with a new formula for calculating the cost for all 3 towns are involved. It seems to be a pretty fair and equitable program. We countered their offer of offering $80,000 for fire protection for basically it's January 1 through December 31st of this year. They have revised their contract with us. We also asked them to provide us with quarterly updates or reports as to the number of calls associated with the town. Part of the hybrid model is based on each town will be charged based on the number of calls within the town. So if there's things that we can do as a board to try to prevent some of those calls, i.e. Kelly stand in the wintertime when people shouldn't be going up there, if we can eliminate that, that will help everybody as far as the fire cost. But this is a contract that actually takes effect January 1st. So, and we typically, once we have a budget that's been approved by the voters, we typically don't pay for it, I think, until November or December.
That hasn't changed, right? I think we've always kind of done it that way.
That's when it's been done in the past.
Okay.
So I would make a motion, I guess, that Todd, you would sign the agreement for the fire protection for the town for the Arlington Fire Department.
I'll second it.
All right, Rick, Marty. Any discussion on that?
I just have that one question.
Yeah.
So the payment schedule does say payment shall be made within 30 days following Sunderland town meeting. Are we okay with that verbiage, even though it's just kind of been later in the
I
calendar
see
year
that,
anyways?
We can strike that out and initial it and just, you know,
Just because it's not gonna fall within this fiscal year, and if this is what's in writing, we
yeah,
can.
I've had
theoretically get
discussions with their select board chair, and
Yeah.
he understands that this is budgeted is for next,
Yeah,
starting July 1st.
so if they're okay with that, then they would be okay with that adjustment, like you said? Okay.
And then I think, I mean, our contract usually, I mean, the way we pay things, technically we were covered fire service to June 30th anyway, right? Isn't that how we do
No,
things, or no?
it's a year,
Okay.
it's a calendar year, it's January through
Okay.
December.
Right?
Yeah.
So, it's just their fiscal year, they're a calendar year, we're a fiscal year.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise, no.
Yeah, and I think that verbiage to the appropriated, I mean, that money doesn't become available when, it's not appropriated until July 1st, really, right? For
Right,
us.
just 'cause we
So-
That's when the
budgeted early
budget
in the year.
starts, but I
Yeah.
mean, we actually don't even collect money until
Yeah,
October.
October, November.
okay.
So if you wanna strike that out and,
You might cross it out and then
and initial it,
okay.
yeah.
Just all of it, or amend it to a different verbiage? What should the payment schedule be? To the next fiscal year? No sooner than the
July
upcoming
1st.
fiscal year?
Why don't you just leave it open, not put anything in there?
I would put it like November of, November 26th.
Shall be made by November
Or December.
of each year?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's what we've been
the
paying.
calculation says
Yeah,
by
we
no
paid-
later
we
than
paid
January
January,
15th
Yeah.
to allow for budgeting, and then the very next section, payment schedule, payment shall be made within 30 days following the town meeting.
Yeah.
Approval and appropriation. Okay, I guess there's technically, it still doesn't give us till November though.
It should be December.
Town meeting,
Budget.
there's no comma, so this is like an Oxford comma, mishap, but, within 30 days of Sunderland town meeting, approval and appropriation of funds.
Why don't we don't have another meeting until
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll have the organizational meeting. I think we can still have regular business after that, I believe, organizational meetings. So it'd be the 9th.
Why don't we get that cleared up with that?
Okay.
I'll get in touch with, is it Matt?
Yeah, Matt.
Because even the way this is written, it should say like, whichever applies soonest, or latest, I guess it should say.
What are you referring to?
Well, it just says 30 days following Sunderland town meeting, approval and appropriation of the funds. So is it 30 days after town meeting, or 30 days after it's approved, or 30, or
So
whatever
are
comes
they-
last?
They want it signed, or are they talking actually being paid there?
Payments shall be made.
All right,
Yeah.
well, that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, okay.
So you'd like to withdraw your motion?
Yeah,
Okay. And we're gonna table this. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they can change the verbiage to match what the reality is of Sunderland and our budgeting. Okay. Anything else on, that agreement? No? Okay, yeah. Sorry, Marty, for reaching over.
No problem.
Okay, item number 7, the MERP grant status. So I think we have Callie on. Hey, Callie. So, I guess we'll just I can give a quick thing, and Callie, feel free to jump in whenever. So the last meeting, we discussed the roof issues at the town garage, and the town, we didn't think we had an option, and we were gonna have to come up with the funds to fix or replace or repair the town garage roof. One, because it's leaking, and 2, you can't really do any of the other MERP projects in the town garage if you have a leaking roof, insulation, all that stuff. Callie set up a meeting with the State Building General Service Department, and they're the ones that handle the MERP grant, and myself, Dixie with the Energy Committee, and Callie met with them virtually last week. I think it was on Wednesday. We discussed the situation of the garage and the status of the roof, and the state MERP team said usually it's not approvable for these roofs, but because it's already an approved grant and it's such a critical portion of to facilitate the rest of the grant, that any roof repairs or replacements would be allowable under the MERP grant, because that facilitates the success of the project and the grants. So that was the update with the roof. So hopefully we can use the MERP grant funds to make those repairs. I've reached out to Kelly with Centerline, because it kind of goes back to, I don't think this was initially in Centerline's wheelhouse, because at the time we didn't think we had to make any repairs. But I reached out to Kelly with Centerline to see if they would be willing to take that on as a part of their project. And she said they would be able to, they would be willing to, let's see, what'd she say? They would love to help design and specify the work, and it would be under the category of design work. So they will need to, if we choose as a board to proceed with that route, they would need to submit an amendment to us to their contract that they have. And the way that works also, for money-wise, it would be a time plus expense agreement with a not-to-exceed price is what they would recommend. And I was going to ask Callie what her thoughts are, because that's kind of past my knowledge base of if that's the best route, or in the the consultant, contractor, planner world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert in this type of contract. I mean,
Yeah.
When we do contracts with towns, they're usually like a not to exceed price, and I'm assuming that the not to exceed price would be part of a discussion where you, the town, and Centerline would come to a mutual agreement on what the not to exceed price is. I'm not really sure what ballpark where that would fit. I think that's something you'd have to talk to Kelly about.
Okay.
Because again, I'm not sure how much of their staff time is involved in this work for the roof. So I don't know if I really helped at all there.
Okay.
I would assume that it would be a conversation between you and Centerline where you come to a mutually beneficial like,
Okay.
number.
Yeah, I was thinking, we wouldn't know until we actually got any numbers from them. It was more of an initial, like, any red flags from you with the time and expense agreement. So, yeah, and so my thinking is, I mean, especially because it's not going to be a cheap thing, and we're using Centerline to design all the other stuff, and everything kind of has to fit together. That's kind of what I was thinking would be best if Centerline took that on to put in their whole project, and that way they can facilitate the installation and all that stuff, because we have very limited admin support and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys had any questions or anything on this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
But I agree that it would make sense to have Centerline do that because, they're the ones who are gonna be best suited to sequence the entire thing.
Yeah.
And that makes the most sense to me. But the question I have is that I'm presuming that whatever the cost will be that the MERP grant is paying for the roof, that there will be certain projects that we will not fund because those monies are gonna be used for the roof?
It depends, I think, because we haven't seen what the whole project cost is, and that was the thing with the state too. Is it's approvable. They still want to see what the scope of work will be from Centerline and the cost itself and how the roof fits into the whole picture. Is it going to be, they used an example. They were just throwing out a number like, is it a $300,000 roof or is it, a $20,000 type thing? So until we know more details, how it fits into the whole thing, I don't think any of us really know. At the bottom, the big, other than the roof and the insulation, the other big ticket items would be, you have the mini splits and then any potential, which is at the bottom, priority would be the solar. But it just depends what things.
Yeah, so either it's gonna be approved with our money, or it's gonna be approved and they'll add to the grant to cover it. We just don't know which way it's gonna go yet.
Well, I mean, right now, it would seem like it would probably be best to go through the MERP grant.
No, when I say our money, I mean
Okay.
the MERP grant money that we already,
Yeah.
that's already been approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
And I would just,
go ahead.
sorry,
No, it's okay.
I don't know if I interrupted anyone. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
okay. Go ahead.
I would just add, they wouldn't add any money to the town's already approved grant.
Yeah.
That's not really on the table unless something
Yeah,
completely
so what
shocking
do-
changed
So
there. But I think really it'll be really helpful once you have the budget estimate for how much the repair work is going to cost, because just like Todd was saying, if it's a $20,000 repair, that can be slotted into the budget pretty easily by looking at some other measures and looking at ways to kind of maybe reduce or free up some money on some of the other measures by maybe prioritizing things, versus if it's going to be a $200,000 roof repair, which again I doubt, just based on the type of roof that is on the garage. But if that were the case, then that would be a harder conversation with BGS, because then that would be basically the entire grant, and they don't want to see that happen. But that seems like a less likely scenario.
Yeah, and we've also, we have pared down, we've worked with the Energy Committee, and we have pared down the scope of work already with the not going the route of the vehicle chargers, and so we have cut off some of the potential expenses, as we kind of streamline stuff.
Well, I think,
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
yeah, I'm sorry, guys, I think we also we're down 25,000 that we cut from solar for the garage.
Oh,
If I'm not mistaken, so, and 2,500 was for the EV charger at Town Hall, because I have seen budgets per line item of what we're asking, or what work was going to do, and so I do have dollar figures for that. For example, 66,500 for the garage thermal envelope improvement. That was by far the biggest. And that's my concern too. Two things is, one is the $30,000 don't know, is another option that instead of MERP paying for the whole repair, or are we talking repair or replacement? That's what I'm wondering.
I think it depends. It depends.
So, yeah, because I keep hearing repair. And
Hopefully if you decide to move forward with adding this to Centerline's scope of work and whatever contract amendment, hopefully they would come out, either Kelly or someone else with the expertise to actually, because I know that she's been to the building, but I don't know if someone has actually looked,
not
at the roof. So hopefully once she or whoever else qualified at the firm did that, they would have a sense then of okay, that this could be repaired, this is repairable, or no, this needs to be replaced. And I just want to add too that, it sounds like maybe there's already been the decision to remove the EV charging and some of the solar elements, but that's still in the town's current scope of work. So if that's the route that the town does want to go, we'll need to make sure that that gets included in the next amendment request to BGS to change that. If there's consensus on that.
Okay.
Wasn't there also a question that we were gonna re-insulate the under the roof of the ceiling?
At the garage?
At the garage?
Well, that's the whole,
That's the whole point.
that's the whole point, because we can't, that was the thing, there was a discussion at the time of what's the best method to insulate that garage, and the different, things we could do, but now with the roof leaking from multiple locations, we gotta, because if you look at it, you have all that insulation up top and then on the sides.
Yeah. I mean, my question is, can you re-insulate it with a repair, or do you just take the roof off, insulate it properly, and then put a new roof on it? I mean, it just seems like, to try to do a big insulation job with repairing the existing leaks doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. It makes sense to start to do the whole roof and insulate it.
And that was kind of my feeling with, this grant being $200 and something thousand, and, my thought is, even though it costs money to have Centerline do all this stuff, to have it, to be a successful grant, I think their expertise is way above myself, or what, especially time-wise, what we can provide. And that was my fear too, is, if we did take on that roof, you have to kind of worry about the scheduling of all the projects and the insulation, and I don't know how, at our level, with our resources, we could kind of successfully do that. So, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
I think it comes down to finding out, is it gonna be replacement, is it gonna be repair? Let's get an estimate, start looking at the dollar figures to see, does this become an entire roof replacement grant, or does the town pay for it? I mean, that's always an option too, right? The town pays for all, the town pays for half of it, if, I know it's what came first, the chicken or the egg type of thing here, but, I just want to throw that out. That's still an option, right? It's not just the MERP pays for everything, correct?
I think it just depends. I mean, the ideal thing, because our town's not sitting on any reserve funds other than special projects, right? And so we don't have like a financial reserve built up that we can just kind of take the money from for the roof. So I think, ideally, it'd be best for us as a town, for the grant and for the town, I think would be one thing from the MERP, because that's going to put a pretty huge strain on everything. But yeah, I don't know how, in terms of proceeding, Callie, I had that one email with Kelly. I don't know how to really proceed with her schedule. I don't know if you know more, Jeff, because I know we've talked about it in the past that they were going to bundle everything together and get those grants, or not the grants, but the work estimates out by late winter, early spring, I thought was the plan. I just haven't heard anything.
I don't know if that's still in place right now. Ideally, talking to Kelly, I think is the key now, and I don't know if we get her at a meeting, we wait 2 weeks again. Because again, this is coming down to it, right, Kelly? We have to spend everything by the end of this year.
where they were like basically mostly complete or well on their way towards the end of the 2026 deadline. They could potentially request like a final upfront payment, like you've already done to finish out the work. But hopefully things will be wrapped up or like, 95% there, hopefully by the end of 2026. Because the deadline to get the funds out the door is technically on the state's end of things, on BGS's end. But I'd say let's not, let's just focus more on,
Yeah.
we'll get into more into that if we end up in that situation. But I would say, like, assuming the board wants to make, some sort of official decision tonight, and if that decision is to proceed with asking Centerline to take on the roof work, then, reach out to Kelly and see if she is, still the person for doing that, and have her, or if it's, another staff person that would handle it, come to, the next select board meeting or whenever you have the next time on your agenda. I know it's getting, meeting, is nearing around the corner, so maybe you have other lots of things going on, I'm sure. But getting her to a meeting as soon as possible to, talk about any type of contract amendment that would need to happen between the town and Centerline, and then go over with her, confirm the timeline that you had understood that Jeff had just mentioned, if that's still the timeline, or if not, then what you're looking at in terms of time. And then hopefully she could get you a cost estimate for the roof work as soon as possible, because that's the piece that the state needs to have in order to actually formalize the grant amendment.
Okay.
With the town and put the roof work into the scope, is they need to see that budget estimate first.
Okay.
And I will just add too,
Yeah.
so as some of you probably know, factored into your budget is, and factored into most of the other towns' budgets too, is that using up to 20% of your award for soft costs. And so I think that's around 40 grand is 20% of your award, or thereabouts. I don't know if you're going to end up needing that full 40 grand for soft costs. I guess it just depends on what Centerline gets back to you in terms of like their fee, how much more they need to add the roof work in, or if there's anything else. But if the town ends up not needing the full 40% for soft costs, that's more money that could go into the actual measures. So, just putting that out there, that is possibly another avenue for flexibility in the budget.
So, you want a motion?
Can I just say one more thing? I was just wondering, the board knows that this isn't money we have in hand. So
Yeah.
we would have to pay for the work, not Centerline obviously, but the roof work, and get reimbursed.
Yeah.
So we have money to pay for that, correct? To pay that bill?
So we talked about it a year ago, and so we did the financial hardship, and so we got the initial portion of the grant paid already. And the state at the time said, if we use that portion of it, either we can start doing that rotational, like they're gonna try to get stuff paid within like 2-3 weeks. And so the idea would be, if we did get that, either you can ask for another financial hardship, or we would probably have to use the money from special projects to front it and then get it paid back. Because that's the only way we can really do this project.
How much?
But yeah, Todd's correct in that you can request financial hardship. Again, and that's a weird,
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily like that it's called that. I think I just upfront payment. So like, let's say you get a big bill from a contractor that's like 30 grand that's due, and the town doesn't have that. You could, submit a request for upfront payment again to BGS using that contractor bill as proof.
Yeah.
And generally they have been pretty good about approving those things, and especially when you can show them yeah, we've got this bill that we need to pay. So,
Yeah.
and we don't have the funds for it. So that's definitely an option, and that can be done multiple times as needed.
Okay, good. Of the 206,000 or 10,000, whatever, how much do we have in hand? Do we know Todd?
So I asked Becca in the office last week what we've sent to Centerline so far, and I think it was about 8,000 plus so far in the last year for their design work and everything. That obviously doesn't include the door work that's going on. I think the contractor is doing the door repair or the door replacement at the garage. I think today he started.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
What?
They're,
Yeah. So I think that's either almost complete or in progress. But as of right now, that's where I think that's as far as I know where we're at is.
And the town did receive a 20% upfront payment, I think, at the beginning, or sometime last year.
Yeah, because I remember doing that portion of the grant and working with Caroline once to let her know we're getting, to expect the checks and all that stuff. So we did get the initial 20%. I think we tried for 40 and we got with 20. So, which is better than nothing. So.
Oh, did you say sorry, Todd, did
Yeah.
you say the door replacement work at the town garage has started?
Yeah, I believe so. The two
Sorry.
man doors or whatever, the back of the garage and then on the side, they were there today working on it.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah, and once they're done with that, they'll do the doors, the two, I think, up here at Town Hall.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we contract with Centerline to assume responsibility for the roof repair, roof repair or replacement decision.
could I ask, wouldn't you want to see how much they're going to actually charge first?
Maybe, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe the amendment would be just to proceed with that route. And then, because they're going to have to send us a revision or an amendment that we would approve then. So maybe as an amendment, approval to continue discussions with Centerline for the amendment or something.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll amend the motion to say that we contact Centerline to determine what their costs would be, to assume responsibility for the roof repair or replacement.
Okay.
And get back to the select board as to what the additional fees might be for potential approval.
Okay.
You are asking for Centerline to provide a scope of work and project and estimate of final construction cost? I mean, that's the goal here, right?
Yeah. For the roof, because they already have we've already approved them to do the other scope of work for all this other stuff. The roof is the addition to their
Have
current
they
scope.
provided that number yet?
I don't think we have. I think we had some estimates, but I don't think we have the official numbers yet from Centerline on like the overall what the mini splits are, like the official numbers. I don't think we have that
Well,
yet.
yeah, because I've heard things about a new floor. I've heard all kinds
Yeah,
of
we're not-
things,
yeah.
and frankly, 200,000 doesn't go very far.
Yeah,
And I think it's a dime of town funds should go to this building. It
yeah,
needs to be replaced. And the special projects fund should be the beginning of a sinking fund to replace the garage.
yeah,
The building's shot.
yeah. We still have to fix the roof though. I don't know how we build anything within a year, but I think we're in a tough situation where I don't know if there's too many positives.
Well, that's what I mean,
So-
you gotta get some firm numbers here, because then you start pairing off. The
Yeah.
roof is the priority, but a roof on a building like that could cost quite a bit of money. And
Yeah.
so you just, everything else is secondary, you gotta get the big number and start cutting from there.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the Centerline has the whole. Yeah, Callie, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one point regarding the town garage, because I feel like Sunderland's not alone around the state in terms of having a town garage that just needs a whole lot more TLC or possible replacement beyond the scope of the MERP work. I think it takes a really long time based on what I've heard to get everything in place to actually do a new building. So, I think even if the town at some point, or in the, very near future decides that they want to replace that building or start working towards planning to replace it, you're probably still gonna have that current current town garage for, I don't know, 5 to 10 years maybe, at least as you work towards the planning and lining up all the pieces to get a new building. And so I think, you know, is still, even though it may, you know, feel a little weird to put money into a building that needs to be replaced, at least in the short term for like employee productivity and comfort for folks working in that building, it at least makes sense to me. And then, you know, if there are any energy savings that result from the MERP work, like if you have to spend less money to heat the town garage after all the improvements are put into it, the board could consider putting that into a fund to start planning for the construction of a new town garage. So that's something I have heard from some of my other counterparts around the state as they're having similar conversations with towns that, you know, any energy savings that you receive from any of the work you put into your buildings could conceivably be put into some sort of special projects fund or something like that for eventual replacement of the town garage. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, so I mean, so we have to start, as a board, we have to start long-term planning, which has not been done in, I don't know how long. So I think that's the thing, we have to, for present, the building needs to be fixed for those guys. And so this is the best route, I think, to get it fixed with minimal.
I don't think it's being misinterpreted what I'm
I
talking
know.
about. I don't care if you spend the whole $200,000 on that thing.
Yeah.
I don't approve of the entire program, but if that's what the money is going to, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But I think you have to be cognizant of the fact that, you know, there's a much larger problem here, and it isn't a very long time thing to find, because you have a large amount in the special projects fund. You're gonna have to bond this at some point, one way or the other. So, you know, it's not a long-term thing. You call Morton, you drop a building over here, it's not the end of the world. You know, but it should be on the idea. You have to fix what's here with this money, but I think it's a mistake to go into special projects to fund any part of this.
Yeah, that's why we want to go
I'm the
with
only
the grant.
public here, so.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, and I think that's the path that we're trying to avoid is the limited town funds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah, I mean, 200,000 in special projects or whatever we have in there is a good start for a sinking fund.
yeah,
You put into it for a couple of years and you're gonna bond out half of what you have to do if you spend that money
yeah,
now.
I would, at some point, I think in the near future, we should discuss creating a capital reserve fund.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
And you can make a special sinking fund for the building, but you could also just, create this capital reserve fund and use that also for the replacement building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we discussed it at this last limited discussion on it, and there's a lot of stuff that we need to work on. So, but yeah, okay. So, Marty, so you had a motion for approving to continue discussions with Centerline regarding costs for the roof repair or replacement at the town garage,
Yes.
and returning to the board with an amended contract.
Correct.
Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any second for that? And if there's no second, then I don't know what we're gonna do. Okay,
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
okay,
Passes.
so we have a second from Rick. Any discussion on that? No? So all in favor of discussing this with Centerline, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. Okay, so that's passed. That was an aye. A yay?
That was an aye.
Okay. So I'll reach out to Centerline and we'll discuss this, and I'll get back to the board. Okay. The second item for the MERP grant is the structural steel estimate. So we had that one estimate back in the fall, winter. It was 11 grand. So I reached out to a couple contractors. I've heard back from one. It's kind of difficult getting any kind of response, but I sent you guys an email from an individual today, and so it would be they estimate off that document from Novelli Engineering. They estimate about 8 to 10 hours on site to wire, wheel, remove corrosion, welding plates and paint per that Novelli repair process. Their mobile rate is $200 an hour, plus any shop rate and material costs to prep that 1/4-inch plate for welding. I do have one pending request out for an estimate from another contractor. I didn't have a phone call, but I went through their website and I emailed them. I haven't heard back from them. This wouldn't include any removal or replacing of the wall sections. And so that's kind of like that first estimate. They're not going to take off any paneling if they have to get it from the outside. So, like I said, this one's 8 to 10 hours is what they initially estimate, and it's $200 per hour.
But we don't know any of the other costs.
We don't know the
shop costs, the material costs.
Yeah, and they just said they're happy to discuss further. So that was just the initial conversation I've had with them, because I'd want more, make sure they're aware of the condition of the garage and photos or a site visit. So I don't know what the board would like me to do. If you want me to keep getting estimates,
What if, wasn't Dixie supposed to take off the panel and actually look inside some of that, and then they started and it was too dusty and they didn't?
they looked at the air barrier. I think they cut a hole or removed a panel or two. Not the whole panel, but I think they opened it up in a couple portions of it, and whatever insulation existed was pretty much dust, from what I've heard.
So we don't really know what the structure of some of the steel is, and what would happen if you have to replace all the panels on the outside?
No. I mean, we've had a year and a half of discussing this, and I don't have an answer to some of these questions.
And it started out with it not costing the town any money, extra money, but it's going to.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But in terms of the roof, I mean, I don't know how, it kind of goes back to if you're renovating your home and you find a structural issue or a roof issue, I don't think you can just button stuff up. And I mean, maybe in some places you can, but I don't think you can just button anything up once you find something wrong, especially for a municipality for liability reasons. And so in terms of this portion of the grant, the structural steel, I don't know, I can't answer the rest of the grant, but for this portion, in this agenda item, I don't know.
Is this supposed to be covered by the grant?
This isn't part, no, but it goes into the whole garage thing. So yeah, this portion, as we've discussed before, wouldn't be part of the grant, the structural steel.
The structure and the roof are the two main keys of the building.
Yeah, so I mean, the grant hopefully can cover the roof, and the trade-off would be we have to cover the structural steel. But again, it goes back to, even if people want to replace the garage, we have things that we have to repair and we're obligated to repair. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just listening to this. The grant will pay to replace the roof, but not pay to replace the structural steel that holds it up.
Yeah.
It's a state project, I can tell.
Yeah, it goes into because it's an energy efficiency, and so like the insulation, yeah, and it has a thing with the existing structural issues aren't covered by the grant, but the roof, and like I said, the roof is an exception because the rest of the grant depends on the roof.
Yeah.
So usually, then they said usually they wouldn't.
The structural.
Yeah, the structural
Yeah.
steel is
Integrity of
building,
it,
yeah.
but I think the goal here, Dave, is it's a Band-Aid for right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand that, yeah. No, I just had to ask that question because I'm like, well, it holds the roof up. The whole
Yeah.
point is having a roof.
Yeah.
I would just think that they would allow that. It's all one system, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And as
that's
far as
all.
the
I know.
access to the panels, I can't speak for the guys in the garage, but I know in previous projects, they've taken on some of the construction, the salt shed and everything else, so, if it's a matter of just removing panels to give them access. I think we can use some of our own labor force.
Interior or exterior?
I assume it's gonna be exterior.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Kelly was working on with Sunderland is, you know, when she presents to us, the best method might be exterior, because I think they were concerned about the interior
Right,
route.
a lot of
with all the-
interference, yeah, okay.
all that stuff, so yeah, I don't know what the board wants me to do for the structural steel. If you want me to wait and continue, I didn't reach out to, there's a steel contractor in, Cohoes, New York. Jeff was able to provide me a couple contacts, which, thank you. I haven't reached out to New York yet, because I wanted to kind of stay local. And I'm waiting for one from Wallingford, to hear back from them. Or I can, you know, I don't know if I need an approval, but I can get more info from this one contractor and see if they want to do a site
The
visit.
minutes from our last meeting show a motion to investigate the cost of making necessary repairs to the garage. So I think
Yeah.
that's already covered as
Yeah.
far as
Okay.
investigating or getting quotes.
Okay.
And then once we've gotten enough or
Yeah.
extended any options, then we can review and decide. But
Yeah. So I don't know if the board wants me to proceed with this, or do you want me to just wait and report back in 2 weeks?
I think we need to proceed with it, I mean, because we're eventually gonna be into nicer weather.
Yeah.
Where this is gonna have to be addressed. You know, as far as just obtaining estimates, I think until we can actually get somebody to come in and take a look and like, this is the work that needs to be done, and then we can almost put out an RFP so everybody's on the same page. Because right now, we're like, you know, there's no costs involved as far as material, anything like that. We need to have an idea what this is actually
Yeah.
gonna
I mean,
cost us.
the first estimate that I brought to the board did have, I think, all that, right? That was
Yeah.
that fixed cost. And this one's probably a little bit more, you know, just rough estimate, so.
So,
And do we use that first quote, I guess it was, as a template? And just remove pricing and say, hey, if you're willing to give us a price on a job, then quote it based on the same type of work.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know how, I don't get estimates that much on stuff, so I don't know.
depends on how much you trust that original estimate.
Yeah, I mean, if that's even,
Well, it's not the cost, it's the
Right.
the work proposal.
Right.
That's what you're really trying to put together. The whole job, so we don't get this piecemeal stuff.
I know.
Even if it wasn't the perfect scope of work, it would give you some kind of comparison between estimates. So there's value to it, I guess.
why wouldn't you get an estimate on a roof as well?
I mean,
I think that's where, now we're caught between what the town's trying to do and what Murph is trying to do. So if they're gonna handle the roof, you kinda have to let them handle the roof. If the money's coming from them.
Murph is, Centerline's the one that was going, that you're gonna pay extra to get estimates. But Centerline's not paying for, the Murph grant is, so. Jeff, did you have Centerline help you with the doors?
No, they didn't do anything with that.
Yeah.
No.
I think,
And I might suggest that any MERP discussion, we have Kelly here, that's what we're paying them for. She has to be in these meetings, because, you know, again, like Todd said, this structural engineering stuff, it's way beyond most of us, and I think, you know, this is what we're paying them for, so, you know, that's just a suggestion that she sit in. I appreciate Kelly, a number of them, and I know Kelly was at one, I think, maybe two, but we have so many technical questions about what do we do first and what impacts the next thing we do, that I think she's the expert on it, so hopefully we get her here.
Well, you would start with the roof and then the structure, anything after that is pretty much how it'd go, but that's all, I was just bringing that up,
Okay.
however.
well, I'm gonna, I'll just go back and see if I can get better, using that reference, I'll see if we can get some kind of better, more clarification on costs and see if they can comparison. So I'll do that, and I'll try to bring it back to the board in 2 weeks, if that works for everyone. Okay. Item C for the MERP grant. Jeff, I don't know if we're close yet. I just put it on there. I didn't think I talked to you yet. But the LED lighting retrofit estimates for the buildings.
Right, yeah, I'll have to look again. I know that Kyle Crawford and his company said they could do that, but I think we were talking about getting a licensed electrician, and I haven't found anyone yet.
Okay.
I'll check on that. I'll get back on that.
Okay, yeah, no worries. And I think I'll probably just because we have to keep this MERP thing going, I'll probably just keep the MERP as a standing agenda item for each meeting until this thing's done. Whether we have things to report on or not, I'll just keep you in the loop too, and then we'll update it as we go. Okay. Anything else on MERP for now? Okay. Callie, thanks for helping out. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch if I have any questions or anything like that, and I'll report back what I find with Centerline and stuff.
Okay, yeah, and I'm happy to keep coming back to meetings,
Okay.
if it's helpful.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So item number 8, discussion. I just have it on here. I don't know where we're at. Discussion and possible action regarding purchase of replacement for the Town Highway International CV truck. I don't know who wants to take that, Bruce or Rick or.
Well, the box has been ordered for the truck, and it won't be available to be put on a chassis until December, so. I do know that the 27s won't have to have the depth fuel, and they start probably in August making it, so maybe the town would wanna go with a truck that doesn't have to use that. But I don't, I was talking to, the new truck that we have takes a lot of it, and the other trucks aren't taking a lot, so I don't know if it really makes a difference.
I think the last storm, they said that the new truck, I know there was I don't know if it was a solenoid or something on it where it's not using as much as it used to, but I would just, years ago International tried going without depth, and it turned out to be a fiasco. And I haven't seen anything official from Ford. I know there's discussion about it. My concern would be is if you wait until you ordered a 27 model and there's delays, right now we're at 4 months for the 26 models. So next thing you know, you're into another midwinter before a chassis might be available.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
first year out for anything is throwing the dice.
I think we have to make a decision. We've been talking about this
So
for a long time.
Yeah.
the Ford F600 is $73,210 is the price. And the Ford 550 is $71,620, and the 5500 Dodge is $68,500. And they all are the two Fords, and I'm pretty sure the Dodge the warranty would start when the truck is complete. So those are the prices. The CV 6 years ago cost $95,000, and in the last year it's probably cost the town $25,000 in repairs. And now Brian said the sander doesn't work at all right now.
No, I think we know that it's time to move on from the CV.
Yeah.
The one thing we gotta remember is that eventually we will get some money back on the CV.
Yeah.
Whether it's,
Auction at the route.
I'm sorry?
Take it an auction or?
Yeah, if you go auction or, G Stone might even take it back in on trade, so, We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but I mean, it should bring $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, somewhere in that range, I would assume, so.
So, between the three trucks, the 600, I guess, is a better fit for the town. It's a ton heavier, it'll take more of a load. And if one of the big trucks breaks down, the F600 could probably pick up, where the 550s probably, the ton less. And so the 600 has bigger brakes and some, few other things, upgrades, same chassis, but. So that's where that's at.
I actually contacted both the town of Stratton's highway superintendent and stopped in the village of Manchester's, and they both had the 600s and had 550s, and both of them said they'd never go back to a 550 size just for the vocation. It's just more of a truck, so it's a little bit more money, but I would certainly recommend going with the 600.
I mean, $2,000 over the life of the truck is not gonna be a lot of money.
How much
You're
was
gonna get
the,
more truck.
how much was the 600?
73, 210.
210.
73,
Is there a time frame where that needed to be committed to?
It's right there in the folder there.
I know it's,
The December, the box cannot be put on until December.
Right.
There might be a little sooner.
I just have a stupid question: is why is the box cost more than the truck? In terms of, isn't the box was the box 75
Well,
somewhere in there?
It's a hydraulics, the plow and
60
all.
and change.
Okay,
think.
I was just because I'm not knowledgeable of all the so I was just you have a truck, you think the truck is gonna be in, and the box is kind of the equivalent, but I know there's the plow and all that stuff, and I was just it's just interesting to me that the truck costs almost the same as the box.
Well, actually, we just had it, it's, I think in the front,
oh, sorry.
where it has the plow and,
Is the 600? Is that what Manchester Village has?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Bruce, is that the forest green color, the price?
I think it's white. White and black doesn't cost any extra. Green would cost more. I don't know how much more it would be to.
It's like $600 or something like that for the green, which.
I have no idea.
The Sunderland green, the custom
no,
green.
it's not.
Oh,
There's a green
More like-
close to it, but not the
Okay.
same.
oh yeah, because I think we discussed maybe just getting the magnets on it or something, right? The decals on the side.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think
Is it possible to make a final decision about this?
Yeah, no, I make a
Move on.
recommendation that we get the F600 from G-Stone for the 73 change.
second.
So there's a motion to purchase the Ford 600 from G-Stone. F600 G-Stone, and the price was $73,210.68. Okay, Rick was the motion, Bruce was the second. And that's coming out of the equipment reserve fund?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Would we take,
Color does say green,
it does say green?
Oh,
Yeah.
the-
so that's nice.
Yeah, I'd say we make the approval to make the purchase, but confirm the price, not to exceed 73, whatever that was.
Yes, this
I-
price is
I think
guaranteed for
it's
30
actually it's a
days.
little bit less.
There's no date on, at least not this page.
Okay, so the motion,
No, January 15th, it's expired by a week. So yeah, we need to confirm the pricing still.
By a week?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think.
I'm sure it's
I
good,
don't think,
but
yeah, I don't think it's a big deal.
Let me see if I have.
okay.
What was your concern,
I'm pretty sure the white was a little bit cheaper than
Yeah, the white and black doesn't cost any. Green is, did it say how much the green was?
It doesn't give that detail, it just does confirm that it's green and 73,000.
Can we just say not to exceed the 73,
Yep.
210?
68.
And 68 cents.
Are we asking them if they want this thing in trade? We used to trade ours in to water, we got pretty good prices.
Yeah, the issue is that we just don't know when the new ones,
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah. Well, yeah. Used to be, Dolores used to give you a lot of leeway, that
Yeah.
kind of is done with, isn't it?
those days are, horse
Yeah.
trading are over.
Yeah.
But I still think it's an option.
Yeah.
I mean, G-Stone, if you've ever gone up there, you can trade a horse in.
Yeah,
They'll take anything, so.
yeah.
But, as you know, there's Gov Deals, there's Auctions International.
Auctions International gets good deals too.
Yeah, so there's definitely options there. You know, and it gives you a chance to use it to the end,
Yeah,
clean it up, hopefully make it a little bit,
make a little money out of it.
a little shiny.
Looks like the green adds $660.
Is that included in the price of 73,210?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is part of the quote, it's just,
Yes,
I'm looking at a
So
different.
the white would be cheaper than that then. Okay.
Why would we get a white
Stay with
truck?
green.
I think
Stay with the
Stay
green.
with green.
Gotta stay green.
Don't look like a hodgepodge crew like
Yeah.
Martin looked like.
$600.
it'd be a different shade of green though.
Well,
It's-
but green,
The
you know.
green's not even close though.
Well, actually, this green's unusual, right? I mean, the
This is
green
like
we have.
John Deere green, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, we could fade into the new, probably darker green, but I don't know, my personal thing, as long as I'm the only public here, the hodgepodge, yellows, browns,
Yeah.
blacks, whites,
I like the green.
I'd rather
I
be
like
two
green,
different
too.
greens than have green
I got a
and white.
green house.
Yeah, me too.
Great.
I think that's the green.
It's like a dark.
That's a dark forest green.
Yeah.
So that kind of like
Oh yeah, that won't,
Yeah.
green.
It won't be terrible.
Hey, believe me, there was a big argument when we went from red to green, so can't do that. Apparently.
Will it be marked similar to these? Because I gotta say, these are the best marked out trucks.
Yeah.
on the
Same
road.
yellow reflective.
Yeah, because they really are way better than most towns.
Okay.
Same thing with the,
The lights and everything, yeah.
So we have that amended motion then to.
no, I guess we're staying with the 73,210
Okay.
as per the quote, painted green.
Okay, so we have a motion to purchase the the Ford F600 from G-Stone, 73,210 and 68 cents. Rick was the motion, Bruce was the second. We have had a discussion. Any further before we move on to vote? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any,
Aye.
any opposed? Okay, so it's passed. Okay, item number, where are we on? 9, Bruce, do you have anything for highway liaison update?
No, I know today they broke a hydraulic line on one of the trucks and they were fixing it. I know Brian's getting quite a few estimates on the repair for below the bridge and the lights and the guardrails, and he did find that the guardrails didn't have enough posts in them now, so they're supposed to have 5 and they only have 3 posts per section. But he's kind of getting quotes together for the future of that if it goes. And I think he was meeting with the state on the grant for the repair and the paving in that section. And I haven't talked, don't know where that went, so that's about all I have.
Okay. Anything else for highway liaison? No? Okay. Item number 10, zoning administrator, David?
Most of what we'll talk about exactly, we have a few legal things, we have to, board has to make a decision which direction, because we're at the end of a couple of things. The SCRs are in for the most part for the year, 19 are registered out of previous 21. I'm not sure the other two are actually functioning anymore. I'm trying to discover that through Airbnb, and the previous registrants haven't gotten back to me, so I don't know if they're just gone or not interested anymore. But, you know, checking with the way things are, we do want to make some changes to that bylaw, like I mentioned before, just make it a little stricter for the fire inspection. Might want to consider increasing the fee or putting a late fee in, because I found I have to really hound some people to do it because there is no late fee, basically. Other than that, the only other thing that you ever want to consider with it is, you know, a occupancy tax, which you can do for 1%. You know, it's only 20 properties now, but other towns around have considerably more. Arlington has 3 times that number plus. They have like 72, I think. You know, Manchester's different, but they have well over 200. So, you know, there's things out there. Otherwise, that's working well. Subdivision coming in on South Road, a hearing for that, for the industrial zone. 1 lot, Rose's old house. New owners are gonna add 3 lots to the back there. If they're approved, they already have prospective tenants. It will all be commercial, no serious industry. You know, one's basically gonna be storage, private storage, not like the storage shed building. And I'm working with a solar company they're looking into something on a property on Kansas Road, which falls into prime and somewhat restricted for a 75 kW system. But that's months down the road, but if they go forward, most of these that I've dealt with before don't go forward. They're looking around at the very beginning stages now. But it is a nice lot for it.
Did they try to put one there a few years ago?
They try to put something there. It's the No property.
Conti, I think, got it.
Yeah, there was some big thing proposed. I don't remember the details, but you know, it is flat. Part of it is in prime for solar. Part of it is in ag soil restricted, which is easy to work around with a proper plan. I don't know if it's worth pursuing for less than 75 kW, but, you know, leave it up to them. But, yeah, that's about it for now. Working on the town plan with the planning board, and that should be ready for the select board in a few months, I would think.
Okay.
It's right on schedule. Then we'll work on changing some of the bylaws.
Anything for David? No? All right. Item number 11, town meeting. So just a reminder, Monday, the 2nd of March at 7 p.m. is our annual town meeting at the Sunderland Elementary School. And then following on Tuesday, March 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., there'll be the Australian ballot voting here at the town office. Item number 12, any old business? Any new business for item number 13? Review and correspondence of warrants, that started. I had on here, just as a reminder for myself, the Transportation Advisory Committee. So I did talk to Brian at the garage. I have to get an update for him. But we'll for our organizational meeting after the elections, where is it on here? The state, Nick with BCRC sent me, or sent us, I believe. There it is. Just a reminder that the town will need to appoint a representative to the Regional Transportation Advisory Committee. And the email says they meet depending what's going on, 6 to 12 times a year. Typically takes place in the afternoons on weekdays. Our current representative is Keegan. So I asked Brian as foreman, because I don't know I asked Brian to say, to ask around and report back if either he would like to do it, or Keegan, or Matt, or somebody, and then report back to us, and that way we know for the organizational meeting who would like to do it. I don't think, if someone on the board wants to do it, I'm sure they can ask for it too, but current rep is Keegan, so I'll report back with the the findings for that organizational meeting. That's it for the initial regular business. Item number 15 is executive session.
Make a motion, we move into executive session for zoning, legal updates, and any other appropriate business.
Second.
Okay, Marty and Bruce is the second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of entering an executive session, please say aye. And also welcome David into the executive session. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Executive